Dear friends, I salute each and every one in good afternoon and good evening, depending on your time zone. I greet you from here. I salute you from here. It is another day that we have been privileged to be here and speak to our people and talk to our people and what is happening in Africa. We are here this evening for a continuity to the last broadcast that we had here on that was on discuss and the reason Biafrans have taken it upon themselves. Unfortunate, the network is not really. I don't just know. I've been working on this system to see. Okay, I think the mic is back now. I think somebody should be able to hear me now. If I'm not mistaken. Now, yes, the mic is back. So we are here for a follow-up to what we started already on the expositions on the stooges, the things that are happening in that the imperialists of the West will not stop on African soil or on Africans or Biafrans as it concerns us, because we'll be speaking as it concerns us, the Biafrans. So I bring this video to us for us to look into. Remember the video we analyzed on Friday. In that video, this reporter was talking about how Britain, UK, is shipping in last Friday, we discussed on how UK are shipping in their workers in a large number into Africa.
Of Africa. People that
precisely. In Kenya, precisely. But we talked about what is the reason. And we also looked at what are the things that is engineering them. Played on that video. The video is there. You can go and revisit it. Because of what network is doing, I will not go back to that video, but I will make reference to what we already discussed. If you have not watched that video, you go down and watch the video. Is there already. You will hear what we said on the follow-up is what we are doing now. And that's a video that I'm going to bring up for us. This 3 video is portraying one thing. This video is pointing at the same place. This UN are shipping in their workers in their large number. And when they are being asked, they said they want to stay close to those that they are working for. We discussed about this on the other video. We asked a question there. Who are the people working for these people? What is the motive behind it? Sister Chinwe, you are welcome. And what it? People that are working for people, do you need, what are the tools that you need? What type of work are you doing? What type of job are you doing? Because we saw you coming in with tanks and arms and ammunitions. Is it a security job you're doing for the people of Africa? We ask those questions. That is what we want to know. Are you doing a security job in Africa? Did we need a gate man that you say that you want to do the gate man, that you want to watch over our property for us, that we didn't employ you to do? Or are you self-employed in Africa? If you are self-employed, what are your products? But all these things are none of the above. They are coming to recolonize Africa. They are coming because they have waited for a very long time and Africa have refused to wake up. They are coming because they have looked around and it seems to them that they are not seeing anybody. And all of a sudden, young men and women are rising up to say enough is enough. That is why the topic we will be treating today is saying it's no longer business as usual in Africa. It's no longer business as usual. If you have those of your friends in Europe, in Asia, in all these coming to take mineral resources that are not theirs, go and tell them that it's no longer business as usual in Africa. The people been chosen African spirit by the gods of our land, by Elohim, the creator of heaven and earth, has wakened those remnants that is going to use to liberate Africa from the colony, from the depression that the Africans in, from the poverty, unending pain and agony that we have been put in. Women has risen up to those things. That's why we're saying that it's no longer business as usual. The vitals, the main word that concerns us from here, and the things that we should look closely to. In Africa today, sentiments should not be condoned. Sentiments, hanky-pankies, should not be condoned. That if anybody should rise and the only thing that he's fighting or she's fighting to do is to make sure that the imperialists continue their wickedness on Africa unabated, that person should be showing the way, the door, the exit doors, so that we that believe in Africa, that believe in Africans being Africa, can do the bidding of our people, can protect the interests of Africans just for once. African interest has never been protected from the day one, from the time that Berlin Conference was conducted till today. Africa ceased to exist. Africa has been a shadow of itself from then till now. And these things is not going to continue. UN should keep their workers in United Kingdom. They should safeguard them. They should give them whatever protection that they need. Africans don't need anybody to come and protect them or be a watchman over them. Since the time that the men from Mali, since the time they rose and they rejected offers that the Europe has made to them, the US has made offer to them, they rejected it. Their pet in AU and ECOWAS offered to them, and they all rejected it. Just like the Biafrans rejected every offer that had been made to them. Just like Mazin Nnamdi Kanu rejected every offer that had been made to him. Just like Mazin Simon Ekpa have rejected every offer made to him. Since then, these Western powers has not rested. They have been working day and night. See the beam of the light, a beam of hope coming. That light that they have suppressed for a very long time, for years, is actually coming to set. And they don't work of recolonization. Because the colony that they have recolonized for a very long time has waken up and say we can no longer serve the interests of men and women that doesn't have our interests at heart. The only time they come to you is to bring something that doesn't have anything value to our tradition. We have our values as Africans. And organically, Africa, keep it yourself. We don't need it. We don't need your presence for us to pick our governors or leaders. We can choose leaders by ours. We need you to come and be the one to point a leader for us. Because from the day one, from the onset, you have always pointed a leader among those puppets of yours, those that are ready even to die, protect. Why what we are going to be discussing this evening is important. This is just a background. So what am I saying? Sorry for that. That's what we've been experiencing for some time now. But it will be fine very soon. Very, very soon. It's going to be fine. So what am I saying? Before we proceed, Biafrans, those that are listening and those that are here, once you come in, share the program. Share the program so that more people will see the notifications and come. And if you're a first timer, do well to subscribe and hit on the notification bell so that whenever we come up live, you'll be able to be notified. Share, like, and comment as well for us to know when you're hearing us and when you're no longer hearing us. So, and I also want to I will also want to put on, in case if anybody join us on the studio, you can click on the link there and it will bring you to the studio for you to put your own input. As a question I asked on the other video, I asked, is it Africans that have been setting themselves up? Is it Africans that have been tying themselves up and giving themselves getting themselves ready to be colonized by the West. Or is it the West doing it? Working against, and you go it and be convinced at the end of this broadcast. At the end of this video, you will be convinced on the leg.
hole. But specifically, we're talking
Has
about
been the ones shooting themselves on the leg. The West just bring the suggestion and made an offer to them. And the few stooges among us will pick the offer and they will sell their people out. From this video, you're going to understand what we said on the other video, where I pointed to the soldiers that you see on those armor tank and on those machine guns. They are black men. Those are not Caucasians. So the people that have been used both in the army and in the leadership positions has been Africans. If you hear that there's a massacre anywhere, it is Africa massacring Africa. The West want to be innocent. Why they are the real brain behind everything that the Africans have been suffering. Because anytime any leader rise to break Africa from their mental slavery, the West will not be happy about that person. They will begin to make a plan on how Africa will be the one to buy that person, to send that person to RIP. And many had been sent to RIP. Gaddafi was sent to RIP. Thomas Sankara was sent to RIP. Many other people that have risen to fight have been sent to RIP. And these brave men that have taken it upon themselves again to see to the liberation of Africa, the West has sent all their arsenals, both known and the unknown arsenals against them. In the person of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, Dr. Cho Ayaba, and Ibrahim Traore, and the new president of Niger, the new president of Mali and Niger. Traore is that of Burkina Faso. The West are doing everything now to use African, both those soldiers and civilians that say that they are leaders in different African continents now to hunt down those that are risen up to restore the dignity of the African race. Let's listen to this video. This video will convince you more.
Burkina Faso, and by traitors, I mean those that take money from their own people. The people
Africans has been taking money from the day one, from the time of slavery. They have been taking money to sell out their own. People take out money and they will label their brother to be a criminal for easy sending out of the stage. And the West will not capitalize on that and use mainstream media to sell out the narrative. Just like they did in Gaddafi. Just like they did in Tamotag, the one thing or the other, and they were sent to RIP. And what is that telling you? Give me a record of where it was a Caucasian that directly shot at your brother, a black man that is an activist, a freedom fighter. Go and bring me the evidence. You will not find any. It have been Africans that are used as a willing tool, as stooge. That's why I say that the mentality of these Western colonialists are the same as those that you have here in Nigeria that are called Fulanese. They use the same template. They will use your people against you. And every other person that sees it will justify what is happening. After all, it's their own people, it's his own people that is crucifying him. They say that what he's doing that they don't like it is his own people. But they will not see the unseen hand of the West that was engineering it, paying those few stages that will now recruit many other people that will come to fight against their own freedom. But this time is no longer business as usual. If you choose to be a traitor, good for you. Welcome to the business. If you choose to be among those that have chosen to liberate their people from the imperialist, good for you. Welcome to the business as well. Because whatever path you have chosen to fall at, there is a reward and a consequence of every action. Biafrans has risen to liberate Biafrans from a dictatorship government and the tyrannic government and autocratic government. That is what the Biafrans has come to liberate Biafrans from. That is what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is languishing in dungeon of the DSS in Nigeria today, to liberate Biafrans from this tyrannical government. From this tyrannical government that sponsors terrorists, that integrates terrorists into the system, that welcomes the head of Hamas leader into their own system. So what am I saying? Whenever anything is happening in Africa, it is Africans that are being used. They are liberator. The West always use against their liberator to eliminate, to make sure that the message and the gospel that the person is bringing will not strive, will not sink into the soul of those that the message has come to liberate. Many people has been paid to stop their own freedom. People were paid for the kidnap of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu from Southeast governors and many others that said that they are fighting with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu received money and they betrayed him. Was that Caucasians? The answer is no. They are Biafrans. Where he was kidnapped in Kenya, that place, is it London? No. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been in London for a very long time. He been in UK for a very long time. He been in Israel many times. He been in other Asia, Europe, other European countries for so many times. And none of those places was Mazen Nnamdi Kanu kidnapped. But the very day Mazen Nnamdi Kanu touched his feet on the soil that he will call his own, on the soil that he will say that even if somebody is after him and he have run to this particular place, where he will say that this is a place of refuge, where he will say that this is a place of rest, where he will say that this is a place that I can call home. That was the same place that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped with the help of Kenyan government. But Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was not kidnapped in London. He wasn't kidnapped in Israel. He wasn't kidnapped in the United States. He been in the United States multiple times. He been in many Western world, even in Asia, because he traveled to Japan. He traveled to so many Asia countries, and none of these Asia countries could offer to Nigeria what they demanded from them. Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said it himself. He said that any embassy that he went to, both in Asia and in the Western world, that they always delay him for like a couple of 10, 15 minutes. And they will be making calls. That means that his name has been on the radar. And anywhere he went to, when they received those calls, a direct order will come that they should allow him, that nobody should tamper with that guy. And they will let him, give him his passport and everything, and tell him, welcome, have his passageway. But the moment he landed in the coast airport of African soil in Kenya, immediately he was betrayed among his own kind, among his own people. So when we are blaming the West of our problems, we should look inward. The traitors has been the ones masterminding and the plans of the West against our people. And this time we withdraw every sentiment on these people. If these people continue to be condoled, men backward. That is why Ibrahim Traore is doing whatever he's doing today. He's a young man of 34 years. How many years are you? Those that betrayed Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, how many years are there? Those in the DOS, the IPOP Nigeria, that are yapping everywhere today, how many years? But they choose to serve the interests of the imperialists than serving the interests of their own. They chose to serve the interest of the West than serving the interest of their own country, their motherland, the soil where they were born, their ancestral home, their own people.
Of Africa.
So my people, we will always come back. So we should return back. I salute each and every one of you again. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that it has been always our brothers in Africa that have always been used against us in Africa. It have never been a Caucasian, even though they are working behind the scene, but it have always been our brothers
Africa.
doing the job, taking the job for the Caucasians, instead of them doing it themselves. They don't want it to be in their record. They want it to be that it is you that handed over your own person to be sent to RIP. And has anybody kicked against it? The answer is no. Has anybody waking up to say, no, we can no longer be a stooge? Friends, I want each and every one of us, if you know that thing that you're doing that is making Simon the prime, the ambassador of peace, to be doing what he's doing in Biafra land, to make it possible that today Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is still being called on, continue to do it unabated. Stand firm and continue doing it. Because these people that you thought they are human beings, they are not. They have actually come to kill each of us. If you're looking of that I'm showing you on the screen, that person is speaking today like Ibrahim is speaking today, like the leader of the Amazonians, like Dr. Cho Ayaba is speaking today. This man has come to speak this way before, and they were set up by Africans and sent to RIP. Many has gone. And Africans have not asked themselves a question. How many times have you ever seen the West gang up the way they normally gang up against your leaders that are speaking your minds, that are speaking your interest? How many times has they ever ganged up against these leaders that are bringing death to your people? How many times have they ever ganged up against such person and campaign the way they will campaign against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, Dr. Cho Ayaba, or Ibrahim Traore, and the other our brother from Mali and Niger? Have they ever done this crusade that they do on your liberators, on those people that have been there to siphon you, to make sure that you did not breathe? The answer is no. Rather, the West will always come and say they are bringing AIDS. Biafrans complain that Nigeria is integrating assassins, killers into the system. Boko Haram terrorists is being put in the army, in the police, in the custom, and the navy. Now, Navy, Boko Haram, and terrorists have their own navy. They have their own air force. They have their own police. They have their own foot soldiers. In Nigeria, is a safe haven. to terrorists. And whenever Biafrans speak in this manner, you see somebody by blinking will come and offer Nigeria more 50 million US dollars to continue with their hegemonic tendencies against our people in the name of arms giving. What makes you think that you can give arms to Africa? Africa is as rich a continent in the world that is this rich, that from the proceeds you're getting from their land, you've been able to stabilize your economy. The same Africa is the only people you think you can give aids to, because you're using your aid to make them lazy to themselves, not to sit up and begin to think behind the outside the box, to know that actually they can refine their gold like Burkina Faso are doing now, to know that they can actually refine their oil like the Biafrans will do. Immediately the Biafran government in exile were put in place. Whenever the transitional government take place in Biafra land, we will start refining our oil by ourselves, not sending our crude to anybody to refine and bring to us a finished product. No, 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 no. Long. It's not that reasons. They have been killing us because of what they think we have or what we will offer. This is the only reason. There's no other reasons to it. Not that Africans has done anything wrong to them. Never. We have not. But the only reason they are doing what they are doing is because they never wanted you to stand up. They don't want you to have a control of your economy, like Ibrahim Traore that you're seeing on the screen now is doing. He's taking full control of the minerals that is in the land of his ancestors to use it to the advantage and to the favor of their people. And the people of Burkina Faso today is very happy for him. The people of Mali are happy because these three nations join forces together. And this force is what ECOWAS and AU is frowning at. That they give them a lot of sanctions, thinking that with those sanctions, just to please their counterparts in the West, to tell them that they are working, thinking that those sanctions will by any means break the resilience of these men. But they stand firm because they believe and know where they are going. They know where they are going. They understand what they are doing. They know it is the interest. It is to the interest of the people. That's why this young man have to stand up as a sacrificial lamb to liberate his people. Just like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu stood up as the sacrificial lamb, Mazen Simoneba stood up and said enough is enough. It's no longer going to be business as usual in Biafra land, where you come, you take all, you take this, you take that, and at the end of the day, you change it into arms and ammunition, and you come to kill the same people that have been feeding you all the day long. Economic strangulation is ongoing in Nigeria until our freedom is achieved, and that freedom is fast approaching. Let's listen to this video again. We are back. Let's listen to this video again for you to see the reason why you must continue with everything you're doing
of Africa.
in support of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Biafra Republic government in exile to continue the liberation movement that is ongoing.
Mostly for Western nations. So those are the traitors that we're talking about, and this is bad news for them because this is what Burkina Faso's president.
Those that have chosen to do the work of traitor, they have a bad. We are going to make it impossible for them. They have a bad business at the presence of these men that you're seeing here. Mazi Simon Ekpa ended the job of the traitors in our land, and today we are seeing the light. Today we've been able to do something and achieve it. Because the traitors in our land they have been suppressed. We exposed their plans and their plans get weak on daily basis. That their plans is as good as nothing to us. Because they cannot stop us. Traitors has been the one that is taking our people and handing them over to the West. Traitors in Africa has been the ones. These two Jews that you have in the place of leadership, they have been the ones making Africa to go backward on daily basis. And they will stand on it and telling you about a political correctness and what have you. Let me play the other video for us. Because of what the network is doing, let me play the other video for you to know why we have waken up. You will now judge between what I said now and what this man is throwing back at us. Then you will now know whether it's the West truly that have been causing your pain, or is it your own people that have been causing your pain, preparing you for the take Western world. Let's listen to this particular video, and you're going to be the judge by yourself at the end of the day. At the end of the day, to be the judge. Listen to him. Let's listen to this man. This things happening, they'll blame and making sure that these people
Could be this.
that they came, that they come and they will take what without anybody questioning them, because you don't as they made you to believe that you don't even have any right to question whatever they are doing. I'm trying to bring the video on, but I don't know why it's not coming on. Okay, I think it's on now.
This
I think it's
ignorant.
on
I
now.
don't think it's possible. But before I say anything, I want you to watch this video and we'll come back and discuss.
If you've been on TikTok for a while, you must
Just
have
pay attention to this video. Listen very attentively to what this man is saying. Or let me just be reading what he's saying, because I don't think if network will allow us to hear what he's saying. He said, some people are writing, some people are saying on TikTok, are white people stealing Africa, stealing African resources, that white people are stealing African resources. Is the What people are saying according to him, is it a lie? The answer is no. But you will hear what he have to say in defense of himself. That's why I said that one day when Africa gets back on their feet, you will think you want to do something that nobody has ever done before by taking the West to court, either to Hague or to International Criminal Court, and they will beat you hands down. Because everything that has ever been done wrong in the African soil has been our people that is used as a willing tool to do them, to execute them. And on that day, they will prove it for you. This guy here was saying that he been hearing a lot of things on TikTok and many other places. How is the white people? He called himself white. He believes he's white because they have sold this narrative for a very long time that they are white, and you that is called chocolate color, that you are black, and you accepted it. And they themselves believe on the narrative that they already shared, that they are white. And as white, that God is white, and you as black, that devil is black. That's why everything that is bad is black. Everything that is good is white. And who are the whites? The Caucasians. And who are the black that this thing is paint black? Who are those that are black people? They are from Africa. And he's saying you are writing that they are stealing your resources. So what am I saying? This man said that everyone is complaining that they are stealing from, that their people are stealing from Africa. That he don't seem to understand what these people are saying. They are the one that are actually taking the resources and selling it to them, and they're enriching themselves
Could be
and making themselves very famous and making themselves very powerful in the continent of Africa. That is what this Caucasian is saying. And I want to take us to a talk. I will be pausing what he's saying so that you'll be seeing it and reading it by yourself.
Europeans stole Africa's resources. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost,
He said most of these resources are still in Africa. Yeah, we know that most of these resources are still in Africa. Okay, the big letter, they are not writing
of
it.
these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually...
Do you see what he's putting up as his defense? That these resources is still in Africa, and it's not being stolen by Europeans, but it's actually being sold to Europeans. Do you see the documentary and the record they are going to present to you on that very day? That you're going to sue them to Hague. They will tell you that the resources and everything that have happened in Africa was done by your people. If not, tell me why UN will have some people that they recruited as soldiers that are working for them in the soil of Africa. These people are everywhere. They are in Nigeria, they are in Cameroon, they are in Ghana, they are everywhere in the continent of Africa. And what good has they ever brought to us? Disaster and pains and agony. From the day one, since time immemorial. This is what we have seen, we know. And this is one of the nonsense that will not be sustained in Africa.
being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership.
They are being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. What else do you want to hear? That everything that they are collecting from Africa is being sold to them. It does being sold to them like Burkina Faso. Find out that the amount they are buying euro is nothing to be compared with the amount in the national market. They are taking the dividends. That is what this man is saying. If you're complaining today that the money you're making or the way you are being treated or what you're suffering in Africa, impoverishment and all that you're suffering in Africa, that you should go and hold those stooges, those traitors in your land, you should go and hold them responsible. Those stooges in the seat of power called African state leaders. This man said that those minerals are actually being sold to the Europeans by the African state leadership. What else do you want him to prove for you? Listen to him, there's something more important he would say.
Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it.
It's your elites that are robbing you, it's not them doing it. Your elites. So if there's anybody you want to invent your anger on, not on the Europeans, invent it on your leaders. Invent it on your traitors. Invent it on those people that you know Do you now see why the lady I played this video the other day was asking the person that he was chatting with that Africa can never rise to take over their resources by themselves? That Africa can never be economically balanced. How do you ever think that Africa will come out of their mental slavery and begin to reason outside the box? It's the same thing that this man is saying. That if there's anything that have ever happened though, that it wasn't their doing, that it was the African state leadership that is doing it. That before you start saying that, telling them that Europeans are stealing from African resources, that you should think again, that they are actually not stealing them, but they are actually giving some aids. They are paying, some of them are paying through aids. Some are paying through one thing or the other. But in actual sense, they are not paying. They are stealing from Africa. And they have been doing this unabated for decades.
Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost, most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it. Not anymore. The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do things?
He said that the question that the Africans should be asking themselves is, why is it that Africa cannot use their own resources to do things by themselves? And this question is me and you that will answer it. Why is it that Africans cannot use their own resources? They have all the resources to build road. Why are they not building it for you? They have all the resources to build good companies. Why are they not building it for you? They have all the resources to build refineries. Why are they not refining your minerals? They have all the resources to build hospitals. Why are they not building it for you? They have all the resources to give you social amenities and everything that you have ever wanted in this life. To have security. They have everything. But why are they not doing it? Because they want to continue being a good boy of the West, of the Europeans. And they love it that way. That you will always look up to them for your desires. Before you have a job, you will come and beg them. Before you travel, you will do all manner of job just to leave this place. You will do all manner of things just to leave to Japa from Nigeria. Many has done. Many has gone and they never come back. Many have ended their journey in Mediterranean Sea. Many ended their own in Sahara Desert. Many have ended in many prisons of the world. Because your leadership in Africa has refused to use the resources you have in your land to do things that will benefit you. That is what Mazi Simon Ekpa is fighting for. That is what that keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today in the dungeon of the DSS. He refused to do what? To sell you out. This European man that is trying to prepare your mind for what is to come, to give you a tip of iceberg of what is coming. There are more things that this man is going to say that will shock you.
Why does Mr. Beast have to go to Kenya to build water?
Why does Mr. Best have to go to Kenya to build walls for them? Why must even some Arabs, even some to come to your aid before? I even hear that Ukraine, imagine Ukraine, the Nigerian state, today is sending grain to Nigeria, a poor country that is also fighting war, is also sending grain to a terrorist country. What does that tell you? Africa, you will always depend on whatever a Caucasian or European will come and tell you. Before you will not believe, oh, so it's like this. If you did not hear it from European, it is not true. Had it been Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an European like this guy, everybody will clap. Ọ dị egwu. Ọ dị egwu. So now you understand better that you need to look inwards. The Biafrans through Simon Ekpa has done that. Fighting every other person, even Britain, fighting everybody. thinking that that is where our
Could be.
problems are actually coming from. Simon Ekpa come into the picture and enlighten us the more that our problem is not only coming from there, but our problems are coming from those that will think that they are with us, that they are our brothers, that our problem is truly from those that have sworn an oath that they will not allow anything good happen to you. This Kenyan man is asking, why would African government, why won't African government do it by themselves?
Why didn't the Kenyan government do it themselves? I suppose they just chose.
He thinks Kenyan government would have done it by themselves, but they chose not to. You would think that by now that Nigerian that you used to know will have many companies that employ millions of their citizens and engage them to work, that today you will not be complaining about food, complaining about so many things, complaining about social amenities, complaining about no hospital and all that. You'll be thinking that Nigeria would have done it by themselves, but they choose not to. Rather, to use money that is coming from that proceed, do something else. Something that are so inconsequential and irrelevant to you. Just imagine where Nigeria that is so poor is sending millions of billions of dollars to the West just to maintain the caliphate status quo in Nigeria. Your people has everything to do to make life better for you, but they choose not to. They are waiting for the Caucasian, the day the Caucasian will bring. They are waiting for the day the Caucasians will come and they will start building roads for them free of charge and begin to build other things, build factories, build companies for them and build it and hand it over to box by themselves. These are puppets.
Could be.
These are puppets you have as leaders. Puppets. They cannot stand up on their own to do something for you. They will always rely and wait for Europe. Oh, have Europe bringing support? Have they bring a support aid? Has they bring anything? They will always wait for them for everything. They will wait for Mr. Best. Do you see how they describe themselves? Every other person will say, why must you wait for Mr. B? That's the best. But they have to write it in full. Why must you wait for Mr. Best to come and do it for you? And who are the best? They see themselves that have been stealing from you over the decades as the best, because they are actually the best. If you come to think of it, they are actually somebody that we are able to brainwash you to the extent that you now lose your true identity to his. It must be the best. A man that made you throw away your culture and your tradition to embrace his own must be the best, like he said. So he's right. But It's no longer as business as usual. This man says something that Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people. But all of them will wait for this Mr. Best to come and do something for them. Because they themselves can never do it by themselves. They can never do it.
Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people, the largest country in Africa, but they only produce about 10% of the electricity that a small
Nigeria is the largest continent in Africa and claimed to be giant of Africa. But they produce 10% of the electricity they themselves consume. You will not believe it that Nigeria is actually supplying electricity to Ghana, to Niger, and to so many other small Benin Republic, to other countries that are having steady power supply. But in that same Nigeria of over 200 and something million population can never have light for more than 1 hour in a week. 1 hour light, sometimes 10 minutes light in a week. But the same country wired, send light So what am I saying? Everything that have been happening is our fault. That we are being treated like this today, it is still our fault. When we're supposed to. We choose to be lazy about and waiting for people that don't even have us at heart to do everything for us. There's another thing this man is going to say, and after saying it, we will begin to wind down. We'll begin to wind down. The network will not allow me to continue. The thing is cutting and it's really distracting me. The Kenya government could not have done it themselves. They will never do anything themselves. They want everything to come. Said Nigerian government cannot generate country as an example. No, he used that is over 220 million in number.
that a small country like Hungary only has 10 million people, but they produce 10
Hungary much electricity as Nigeria does. The giant So this man is pointing out what you've been suffering, and those things that you've been suffering is not as a result that the West has come to impose those sanctions against you, but only you. And it's only you liberate yourself. You will stay very long. A tyrannical resistance on Biafrans until Biafra is fully restored. Nigeria cannot produce 10% electricity. Hungary that is just 10 million is producing more than them. You want to have your Wakanda, right? He said, we know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But we will not be the ones to give it to you. Africans are giving themselves their Wakanda. Biafrans have started it. Burkina Faso have started it. Niger has started it. Mali has started it. Ambazonians have started it. Giving themselves their own Wakanda. And we are going to bring it, and you will see it when we'll have it. We will give ourselves our own Wakanda. That right of being a human, we are going to have it. And you will see it as it will happen. Listen to what this man will say after all these things that he said.
Kandar, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it.
Do you expect white people? He still call himself white. Do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourselves. And Biafrans understand this very fact. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu understand this very fact. Mazen Simon Ekpa understand this very fact. Dr. Cho Ayaba understand this very fact. And that is why they are saying your destiny is in your own hand. Rise up and pick it. You are the only one that can give yourself good life. Give yourself good hospital. Give yourself good school. For other people to come and give it to you, you will wait till eternity. Listen to what he have to say.
Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the north.
Having said all this, listen very attentively to what this man will say afterwards. Having said all this, we the Europeans in the north, listen.
North need to prepare for a possible.
They are preparing themselves to fight people that are not even preparing to fight them. Because they say that guilty conscience is afraid, but innocent conscience fears no. A guilty conscience is afraid even before you started chasing him. A criminal runs before his time. You said you're not stealing from Africa and you're not doing anything against Africa. Then what are you preparing for war for? Or you just love fighting those that are not fighting you because of what you see that is coming. You're already terrified and afraid that if Africans should wake up as they are waking up in Biafra, waking up in Ambazonia and Mali and Burkina Faso and Niger, that they will begin to do more than you have ever done in technology and in every aspect of life. That is your fear. Not that the Africans or Biafrans will come to. But their guilty conscience has been the thing that have been killing them. Their guilty conscience. Because they know that they have done badly. They have done badly. And this thing is instigating fear in them. But that is not
Can
our
be
problem now. Our problem is the restoration of our land. And that we are doing without any apologies to anybody.
Kandar, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build need to prepare for a potential African rise into
That the Europeans in the north will prepare for a potential Africa rising in terms of technology. Do you see what these people, what they are afraid is you rising in terms of technology, rising in everything that will build you to stand on your feet, that you will no longer be dependent on the West. That is what they are afraid of. And that is what they are preparing for war, to make sure you never rise in technology, in commerce, that you never rise to control your own or do anything that is unique to you as Africa. That have been their threat. Not as a result that you are preparing for anything evil against them, being the one that have been treating you with every dehumanization that you can ever think of, with every kind of low life that you can ever think of in this wide world. But they are afraid that if Africans should rise in technology and in other things, that is going to be a problem to them. Why is it going to be a problem to Europe? That is the question you will ask yourself. Because by then you will no longer need them to have a good job. You will no longer be running and selling your ancestral land just to make it through the Mediterranean Sea, through the desert, through every hurdles of life just to find yourself in Europe. You will no longer have any of those to do. But they themselves will be the one coming to Africa to beg you to please come and visit them. That is what they are afraid of.
in terms of technology and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means
that when they have developed and built their own technology and grow in military capacity, that means we in Europe,
means we in Europe need to already start looking at
that them that are in Europe need to start already. Look at his eyes, look at the body language. That they that they are looking ahead. They need to start looking ahead as you're struggling to come up in technology, in commerce, in controlling your own resources. That the Europeans in the north, they need to start looking ahead of
can
who?
be
Ahead of
this
the Africans.
gets
ahead of the Africans, they need to start looking ahead. That is what this man said. They need to start looking ahead to make sure you remain where
Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the north need to prepare for a possible, potential, in terms of military technology, and that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead.
they need to start looking ahead and thinking ahead. You look ahead, you think ahead. You look towards the future, you think the future. But today in Africa, you look only for today, you think about today, what to eat and drink today, what to eat and drink today, what to eat and drink today. You don't think about tomorrow, you don't look at the future. These decisions I'm making today, what will be the consequences tomorrow in the future? These things that I'm implementing today, these things that the Caucasians are enforcing down my throat, what is going to be the consequences of this in the future? This is one thing that Africans, those so-called leaders, will never think in this line. The only thing they want is today. But in the person of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa and Dr. Cho Ayaba, they are thinking outside the box, and that is why the Europeans hate them, because they are actually liberating you from your mental slavery. Biafrans, it is time.
About how we are going to win the war against Africa.
About how they are going to win the war against Africa. Ask this man which war. He said when you begin to rise in technology and in other things, that they themselves, that are the Europeans from the north, need to start thinking, looking ahead and thinking ahead on how they will win the war against we, the Africans, in the nearest future. And you sit down once you have built a 5-star hotel with the money you sold our mineral resources to the Europeans, and they are using it to build more sophisticated technologies and using them to wait for you at the time that some of those brilliant men and women that are deposit inside of you will rise to begin to take what that rightfully belongs to them and begin to lead the Africans to a tour in a revolution that will bring advancement and bring technology and restore the economy of Africa. At that time, these people are already preparing for a possible war that they are going to fight against you by the time you will be doing all these things to better the life of your people. Remember, you're not doing if they are afraid of Africans rising in technology and in commerce and in every other thing and in technology, that means they have been using their technology against us. Once we begin to rise in technology and that they themselves should be and thinking ahead for possible war, that they need to prepare. That when you begin to rise, potentially in technology, in terms of technology, because they know you have everything to build your technology. He said they should be thinking ahead on how to win the war against you. But you are busy sleeping. The only thing that concerns you is that the West have sent aid to you, or they have borrowed you $1 billion, and they will go back and share it in Abuja. Biafrans has come to bring what is going to be organic in starting from Biafra land, the place of the rising sun. I thank you so much, Biafrans. We have come to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you so much. We'll continue tomorrow. And I pray that tomorrow that the network will be kind to us. So thank you, you that have been there, you that have shared, you that have liked. Thank you, you that believe in the freedom of your people. Thank you, you that are not looking for a way to join the traitors. May Elohim continue to bless you. Remember, it is Biafra first. It is Africa first, before any other thing. Thank you so much. I salute you from here. May Elohim continue to guide and protect you everywhere in the world you find yourself. Ise, Ise, Ise. Thank you. I salute each and every of you. And my sister Chinwe that was here earlier that commented, and every other person that though you did not comment, I salute you for coming. May heaven speak good of you. In the mighty name of Chukwokika Biama. Ise. Thank you. And do have a lovely day, a lovely night. Oh, we are still on the weekend. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow is another day. May your days be long. Ise, Ise, Ise. Thank you and see you some other time. God bless you.